Did your ex-husband have to give you permission to write this book? I never really ask. Ivana Trump, who was married to former President Donald Trump, was a powerful businesswoman with a huge net worth. She was known for her many love relationships, and her honest media appearances won over many hearts. Sadly, her full and exciting life ended in a terrible way that ended all of its parts for good. Many people were shocked and interested when they saw someone at Ivana Trump's funeral who they didn't expect to see. Who was this guest? Watch this video to find out whose appearance shocked the whole world. Before we start, let's take a quick look back at her early years as married to Donald Trump, Ivana's early life. The Czech Republic is now the Czech Republic, and Ivana Miroslavikova was born there on February 20th, 1949. She was born in the small town of Godvaldov, which is now called Zlin. Her early years were a mix of being loved and being very strict. Her dad, Milo Zelnicek, was an electrical engineer who was sure that if you worked hard, you could achieve anything. Marie Frankova, Ivana's mother, worked as a telephone operator but still raised Ivana, who would go on to become a famous person around the world. Ivana was very talented from a very young age. She could ski so well when she was 4 years old that she made the adults look bad. Because he saw how good she was naturally, her father became her teacher and helped her love the sport. Ivana got a lot better at skiing with his help, and she also learned some very important lessons about how to work hard and not give up. Ivana thought of skiing as more than just a sport when she was growing up in the Soviet Union. It turned into a way to get away. It gave her a look at the world outside of Czechoslovakia, which was very restrictive. Her skills on the slopes got better as she got older. Ivana joined the junior national ski team when she was a teenager. This gave her the chance to travel outside of her home country and experience life beyond her upbringing. Even though Ivana was good at sports, she was just as driven to do well in school. She started going to Charles University in Prague, which is one of the best schools in the country. She went to school and got her master's degree in physical education by 1972. This academic success didn't keep her out of the public eye. In 1970, she had a short but memorable role on Czechoslovak TV in the children's show Pantau, which showed that she was good at performing in public. What did Ivana do for a living? Who was the surprise guest at her funeral that no one saw coming? Check back to find out. The work of Ivana. In the Trump Organization, Ivana Trump played a big part while she was married to Donald Trump. Notably, she was a top executive and used her interior design skills at that job. The most important thing she did in this job was create the inside of Trump Tower, which is famous for its pink marble. People took note of Ivana's good management skills and keen eye for style. She was put in charge of running the Trump Castle Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City as its CEO and president. She went on to run the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan after that, which made her a real business star. After getting divorced from Donald Trump, Ivana Trump quickly made a new life for herself as a businessman. She started a lot of businesses, such as lines of clothes, fashion jewelry, and beauty items. She became well known in the home shopping market because these items were sold on famous TV shopping channels like the Home Shopping Network and QVC London. Ivana took her desire to be a business to the next level in 1995 when she opened the House of Ivana, a fashion and fragrance company with a store on New York City's Park Avenue. Ivana took her business interest to Croatia in 1998. She had happy memories of going there with her parents when she was a child. She bought a 33% stake in Polo Plus 10, which at the time was the second biggest daily newspaper in Croatia, as an investment in the media business. This move showed not only how smart she was at business, but also how much she wanted to stay close to her roots, though Ivana's business efforts didn't always work out. The Bentley Bay development she owned with Ivana in Miami, Florida, went bankrupt in 2004. The next year, she was involved in a number of planned apartment projects. The Ivana Las Vegas project was one of them, but it never came together. In 2010, Ivana went to court against Ivana Helsinki, a Finnish fashion business. She told them they were selling women's clothes with her name on them without her permission, showing how much she cared about protecting her brand and reputation. In addition to running her own businesses, Ivana Trump is also a very good writer. She has written several books about the things she has learned and the things she has seen. In 1993, she wrote the novel For Love Alone, Free to Love. In 1995, she wrote the self-help book The Best Is Yet to Come, Coping with Divorce and Enjoying Life Again. When Ivana wrote these books, she talked about her experiences and gave advice to people who were going through the same thing. From June 1995 to January 2010, Ivana wrote a column for Globe called Ask Ivana, in which she gave love and life tips. People liked what she had to say, which made her a more well-known voice in the fields of lifestyle and personal growth. She started her own lifestyle magazine, Ivana's Living in Style, in February 1999. This gave her a chance to share her interests in fashion, home decor, and lifestyle trends. In 2001, she wrote an advice piece for Divorce magazine, which made her even more of a role model for people in the same situation. Ivana's book, Raising Trump, came out in 2017. Now, in this book, she talks about her childhood and the first few years of raising her kids with Donald Trump. People who read her book learned more about her life, her morals, and the problems she had as a mother. What else did Ivana Trump do that made her popular and wealthy? Stay tuned, we're about to start. Ivana Trump's shows on TV and in the news. Many times during her life, Ivana Trump made memorable visits on TV shows, both before and after she married Donald Trump. They first went on stage together in April 1988 on The Oprah Winfrey Show. This appearance made them a famous pair in the media because it showed off their fancy lifestyle and gave details about their marriage. After that, in May 1988, they went on BBC's Wogan, which made them even more well-known in the entertainment world. Now that Ivana is no longer married to Donald Trump, her relationship with the media has changed. Barbara Walters spoke with her for a BC's 2020th, which was a big event in her life after getting married. In this conversation, Ivana talked about how she felt and what she had been through during her divorce. Because they were honest, Donald didn't like it, and he stopped paying her alimony soon after the interview ran in 1991. He even said he was going to sue Ivana for money damages, which shows how tense their relationship is now that they are divorced. Even with these problems, Ivana went back to the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1992 and gave a powerful speech about women's rights. Men will no longer be able to control me. This made a lot of people feel good and showed that Ivana was determined to get her life and personality back after she married Donald. This job gave Ivana the chance to reach more people and also made her believe in women's freedom stronger. In 2006, Ivana's reality TV career took off when she hosted a show on the Oxygen network called Ivana Young Man. She helped a rich older woman find a much younger guy on this true TV dating show. The show gave Ivana a chance to show off her charm and way of dealing with relationships, which made fans like her even more. Between 2010 and 2011, Ivana fought against other famous people on the UK TV show Celebrity Big Brother 7. Her appearance on this reality show was another big moment in her media career, and she came in 7th place. Fans got to see a different side of Ivana besides her famous marriage and business deals as her personality and experiences came through in the show. Let's talk about her well-known weddings now. Did you know that she married someone else before the Trumps? Watch on to find out. The marriages of Ivana Trump. In 1971, Ivana did something dangerous that would change the course of her life. Alfred Winkelmeyer, an Austrian ski teacher, was her husband. There was no love in this marriage. Instead, Ivana became an Austrian citizen because of a smart choice. This move let her leave Czechoslovakia without having to deal with the shame of defecting, allowing her to visit her family while looking for new jobs abroad. But this marriage didn't last long. From LA, where Winkelmeyer went to teach skiing in 1972, Ivana got a divorce without being there. Ivana quickly moved on from that time in her life, but it served its purpose by giving her the freedom to achieve her goals. As soon as Ivana got divorced, she set her sights on Canada, more especially Montreal. For her, this move was the start of a new era in which she could find her own personality and discover new things. Ivana's strength and determination formed the core of her personality and paved the way for her ultimate fame. Ivana Trump has been through a lot of love, loss, and coming back to life. She went through a lot of sadness after losing her first love, lyricist and playwright George Stell, in a terrible car accident, but she came through it strong. Ivana married George Siravatka again after George's death. They had been dating since 1967. Siravatka, who had been against the government for 2 years and ran a successful ski shop in Montreal at the time. Even though Ivana said they were married a lot, they never actually got married. There were some hard things about living in Montreal, but Ivana wasn't one to give up. She was a ski teacher and started modeling because she had to, not because she loved it. To get better at English, she took classes at McGill University at night while still working as a model. People like Eaton's and fashion designer always hired her, but modeling for the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal was the most important job she ever had. She stayed in touch with the sports world through this job, which also opened doors for future opportunities. During a modeling job in New York City in 1976, Ivana's life took a turn she could not have imagined. She met Donald Trump, a cocky and eager real estate developer. At first, Ivana didn't fall in love at first sight. She wasn't looking for a new romance because she was still seeing someone in Montreal. Donald, on the other hand, kept looking for her no matter what. She got 100 roses from him, gave her fancy meals and called her all the time, even after she moved back to Montreal. Donald worked hard, and it paid off when he shocked Ivana by going to one of her fashion shows in Canada. By Christmas, she could no longer deny that they were linked. Donald asked her to go on holiday with him to Aspen. On New Year's Eve, as snow fell around them, he made a bold statement: "If you don't marry me, you'll ruin your life." Ivana agreed because she was in the moment. From the start, Ivana's marriage to Donald Trump was just for show. The wedding took place at New York City's famous Marble Collegiate Church on April 9, 1977, and was very fancy. The who's who of the world was there, and Ivana, dressed like a bride, walked into a world of power, money, and never-ending drive. There was a surprise on their vacation in Mexico. It should have been the start of a great life together. Ivana had a baby. The line of the Trump family began with the birth of their first child, Donald Jr., on December 31, 1977. Then, why did they break up? Let's find out. Ivana and Trump's planned marriage and problems. It wasn't just family that made her marry Donald Trump. It had to do with money, power, and honor. Ivana quickly became an important part of Donald's real estate business, which was growing. Because he thought she was good at design, he made her the vice president of interior design at the Commodore Hotel, which he was turning into the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Everything had Ivana's touch to it. She did more than just decorate the rooms. It was her work that made these luxurious spaces famous for Trump. Their business relationship was strong. Ivana worked more than just behind the scenes. When Trump Tower was being built, she worked right in front of everyone. The luxurious furnishings that she helped make became a trademark of the building. But her most important job was as president of the Plaza Hotel, which became a symbol of New York style thanks to her guidance and foresight. Even though Ivana and Donald were doing well at work, problems started to show up in their personal lives. By the late 1980s, the stress of their high-class lives had caught up with them. In 1989, the holidays were supposed to be a time to celebrate, but they turned out to be a turning point. During a holiday in Aspen, Ivana met Donald's mistress, Marla Maples. The argument made the news in the tabloids. Ivana never showed weakness in public, but she couldn't hide how much it hurt her to be cheated. In the face of scandal and the public eye, their marriage slowly fell apart. For the kids' sake, though, Ivana and Donald tried to keep up the act. But in February 1990, Donald changed the locks on Ivana's office at the Plaza Hotel, which was the last straw. Her company and their marriage fell apart. How did this well-known split affect things afterward? Stay tuned for more information. The breakup and what happened after it. After that, there were violent court battles over their prenups, and the news gave the whole thing way too much attention by going into great depth about every part of their breakup. What's more, tragedy struck in October 1990. Ivana's dad, Milo Zelok, died out of the blue. The fact that he had been a spy for Czechoslovakia's secret service made her grief even worse. Even though they were still getting a divorce, Donald was there for her during this hard time. A rare moment of unity in the middle of their rough separation. The split in 1992 was one of the most publicized and tense splits of the decade. The news went crazy when Ivana made horrible accusations against Donald, like mistreatment and misbehavior. Even though they broke up badly, Ivana was able to rebuild her life and become a strong person in her own way. Trump got a big settlement in her divorce from Donald Trump. She got $14 million, the house in Connecticut, and an apartment in Trump Tower in Mar-a-Lago for 1 month each year. Even though their marriage ended in a dramatic way, Ivana and Donald were still able to live together happily. They spent time with the kids, and their relationship got better over time. Ivana's attendance at Donald's inauguration in 2017 showed that they could put aside their differences to keep the family together. Donald liked Ivana's ideas and often asked her for advice, even when he was president, even though he had many problems. Marla Maples was involved in the scandal that ended Ivana and Donald's marriage. Later, Maples said she felt bad about her part in the split and asked Ivana to forgive her, and telling Ivana's kids how much she loves them. Even though there was stress at first, Marla stayed close with her stepchildren, especially Tiffany. This shows how complicated family relationships can be over time. Was this the end of her love story? Did she meet someone new? We'd get there right away. After Donald Trump got married, he had other relationships. Ivana tried to start over with her life and find love again after her breakup. Riccardo Mazzucco is an Italian businessman and lady assassin who became famous for his love extravaganzas when she met him in 1991. Their attempts to get together were so romantic it looked like it came straight from a movie, like the time Riccardo filled a room with roses after a very simple lunch. This made Ivana feel good, interested. Ivana was set on marrying Riccardo, and he first asked her to marry him with a beautiful 10-carat diamond ring. Ivana did not accept his first request, though. Riccardo asked her to marry him again 3 years later, this time giving her a beautiful Burmese gem. Last but not least, Ivana said yes. They got married in 1995, which was a new beginning for both of them. That bright beginning didn't last long, though. Ivana and Riccardo got a divorce after 20 months. At first, Riccardo told Ivana he loved her and said he had given her more than Donald ever had, but their relationship quickly turned bad. They didn't say goodbye on good terms. Ivana sued Riccardo for $15 million because he broke the deal not to talk about it. Even though their legal fight was nasty, they were able to settle out of court, ending their short-lived relationship in peace. After her split with Riccardo, Ivana didn't stay single for long. She started an intense relationship with Count Gianfranco Catani in 1997. Count Gianfranco Catani was an Italian nobleman whose name made people think of royalty and old-world charm. Gianfranco was the epitome of European class. He loved fast cars and living a jet-setting life. That is, until he met Ivana. She said he stopped being a playboy for the sake of his business. They were very romantic with each other and admired each other a lot. Gianfranco was more than just a lover. He liked how strong and independent Ivana was. He famously gave her a red Ferrari for her birthday, which showed how much he cared about her and how rich he was. Notably, Donald Trump liked Gianfranco and called him a high-quality guy. This was a rare compliment from Trump, who is known for being critical of Ivana's past partners. Gianfranco died in a car accident in 2005, which was a sad end to their relationship. His quick death broke Ivana's heart. It was the end of one of the most important relationships in her life, one that gave her love and respect. Rossano Rubaconde, an Italian actress and businessman who was much younger than Ivana, was the last important person she dated. Their relationship grew quickly into a wild affair that ended with a big wedding at Mar-a-Lago in 2008. A lot of important people came to the wedding, which had all the glitz and glamour you'd expect from Ivana Trump. Things were hard in their marriage from the start, though. Ivana and Rossano broke up in 2010, just 1 year after they got married. Things did not end between them, though. Over the next 10 years, they were seen together a lot. Their on-again, off-again relationship kept them in the news. In 2018, they even danced together on the Italian version of Dancing with the Stars, showing how well they get along both on and off the dance floor. In 2019, Ivana and Rossano broke up again, saying it was hard to keep up a long-distance romance. Even though they broke up, they stayed close and were often seen in New York together. But tragedy struck in October 2021 when Rossano died suddenly at the age of 49. Ivana was very sad when he died because she had grown used to having him in her life and loved the time they spent together. It's too bad that her time was also coming up. What did her last moments look like? Check back to find out. The last few months of Ivana Trump's life were spent in solitude and thought. Ivana Trump's lifestyle changed a lot in her last few months. She spent less time with the lively social scene that had once defined her. Ivana used to be a strong and interesting person in New York society, but her health problems made her feel more and more alone. As her health problems got worse, the things she used to enjoy about her life began to wear her down. Fear of getting COVID-19 made her shrink even more. Ivana was very worried about the virus even though there were medicines and safety rules in place, which made her stay in her New York home by herself. She stopped talking to the high-class people she used to hang out with, so she missed the events and get-togethers that used to fill her schedule. Ivana was afraid of getting sick, and she was also in pain, which limited her activities. She loved skiing, but years of doing it had done a lot of damage to her body. She had hip pain all the time. A steady reminder of how hard her active lifestyle was on her body. This pain got so bad that it made it hard for her to enjoy even the smallest things, like going to her favorite places. Some of her friends, like Zakaram, remembered how uncomfortable it was for her to be away from the people she used to love and have fun. Things went badly for Ivana after that. She fell in a restaurant because someone had left their bag on the floor. This accident made her already bad injuries worse, making her pain worse and making her feel even more alone. Rossano Rubaconde's death, her ex-husband and the last great love of her life, made her worse emotionally as her health got worse. There were times when Ivana told close friends how sad she was about her husband's death, but she never said she was unhappy. Rossano's death left a wound that hadn't healed, so Ivana had to deal with her sadness alone. Then what really killed her? Let's talk about the specifics. The terrible day Ivana Trump died. Early in the morning of July 14th, 2022, a normal day began, but it would turn out to be a terrible day. They thought Ivana had a heart attack at first. But the truth was even more painful. She died after falling down the stairs in her home. Her death was ruled an accident by the New York City medical examiner, who said she died from blunt force injuries to the body. Many of her friends were afraid that she would die in this terrible way. Her home stairs had always been a worry because they were high and steep, had thin carpet, and didn't have any current safety features. Because of these dangerous stairs, even Nikki Haskell, one of Ivana's best friends, wouldn't sleep over at the house. But Ivana chose to stay in her beloved home, which was full of memories of her wonderful life. Someone who works for Ivana and a cleaning lady couldn't reach her that morning, and they knew something wasn't right. A maintenance worker helped them open the door, and when they got there, they saw Ivana's dead body at the bottom of the stairs. A sad detail that showed how complicated her life was a coffee cup that had spilled next to her. But how much money did Ivana Trump have? What did she want before she died? Check back to find out. What Ivana Trump left behind in her last wishes. Recently made public probate papers show that Ivana Trump, who died in July, left behind a large estate worth $34 million. Her will says that most of her money and property should go to her 3 children, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump. This choice shows that she wants to make sure that her wealth and legacy go to her close family. Ivana had specific instructions in her will about her homes, in addition to the money she wanted to leave to her children. 2 homes were set aside to be given to friends, as a way of thanking them for being there for her throughout her life. Besides that, she tried to give Rossano Rubicandi, her ex-husband, another piece of land. This plan could not come true, though, because he died before she did, leaving that part of her fortune unfinished. Donald Trump, her ex-husband and known for being very wealthy, was not in her will and will not get any of her estate because of this. This information shows how complicated their relationship was after they got divorced, and why Ivana chose to leave her money to her children and close friends. In New York City, Ivana Trump's apartment is only half a block from Central Park. It is one of the most valuable things in her estate. This property is not only a great investment, but it also holds emotional value in Ivana's life and the things she has done there. I'm in one of the world's best towns. Her heirs are trying to sell the apartment right now and have put a $26.5 million price on it. In today's real estate market, though, it's still not clear if they will be able to get that asking price. No matter how much the apartment or any other assets sell for, Ivana's will says that the money from the sale will be split evenly among her 3 children. With this, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric will all get an equal share of their mother's fortune and be able to carry on her work. Then who was the guest at her funeral that no one saw coming? Let's find out. The person who showed up at Ivana Trump's funeral that no one thought they would. If you knew someone as important as Ivana, you would have thought her funeral on July 20th, 2022 would have been very fancy. Her 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, all went to the service at St. Vincent Ferrer Roman Catholic Church, which was a full Catholic service. Each of them talked warmly about their mother and thought about how she had changed their lives. Former First Lady Melania Trump and her son Barron were also at the event, which made it look like a high society event. But Vanessa Trump, who used to be married to Donald Jr., stood out from the other guests. There was a lot of talk and debate about their breakup, and Ivana wasn't afraid to tell Vanessa how she really felt, especially about her marriage to Donald Jr. Vanessa, on the other hand, went to the funeral and comforted her daughter Chloe. This showed how Ivana had a lot of different relationships throughout her life. Vanessa's surprise appearance showed how much Ivana affected the people around her, even when they are dead. As Ivana Trump's family and friends said their goodbyes, it was clear that her influence would live on, not only through her children and the empire she helped build, but also through the lasting impact she had on everyone who knew her. The sad but powerful last part of Ivana Trump's life showed how strong she was and how complicated her relationships were. Her influence is still strong and alive. Many people will remember Ivana Trump as a businessman or socialite, but they will also remember her as a strong mother and woman. The things she said are still true today. They tell us of love, family, and the bonds we make in life. So what do you think about how Vanessa looked at the funeral? Tell us in the space below. Thanks for seeing this movie. We hope it was interesting for you. Remember to like and subscribe. You can watch the next movie on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity news. I'll see you there.